Namaskaram, a very happy Independence Day to all of you. I think my wish is to hold my head high and live without any kind of fear. That is true independence or freedom. Today, on our country's 77th Independence Day, it is but natural to recall one of the greatest poets of modern Tamil literature, Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati. Amongst his numerous works, what stood out eminently was his chronicles on women. Today, his thoughts are most relevant. You know what beauty of it, all of it, is that there are subtle references in his writings, that women are the true repository of any civilization, that women's freedom or liberation is the true liberation of communities and nation, that women should make choices without waiting for any kind of societal validation. Today, the South Indian decided to speak to two women, and both undeniably in the mold of thinking women. But before we introduce them, listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reference to women as Nari Shakti.
देश में आगे बढ़ाने के लिए एक अतिरिक्त शक्ति का सामर्थ्य भारत को आगे ले जाने वाला है, और वो है विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट। आज भारत गर्व से कह सकता है कि दुनिया में नागरिक उड्डयन में अगर किसी एक देश में सबसे ज्यादा विमेन पायलट हैं तो मेरे देश में है। आज चंद्रयान की गति हो, मून मिशन की बात हो, मेरी विमेन साइंटिस्ट उसका नेतृत्व कर रहे हैं। आज विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप हो, मेरी 2 करोड़ लखपति दीदी का लक्ष्य लेकर के आज विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप पे हम काम कर रहे हैं। हम हमारी नारी शक्ति के सामर्थ्य को बढ़ावा देते हुए विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट के, और जब G20 में मैंने विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट के विषय को आगे बढ़ाया है तो पूरा G20 समूह इसके महत्व को स्वीकार कर रहा है, और उसके महत्व को स्वीकार कर करके वो उसको बहुत बल दे रहे हैं। मेरे प्यारे परिवारजनों, हमारे लिए जब नारी सम्मान की बात करते हैं, मुझे अभी एक देश में दौरा कर रहा था, तो वहां एक बहुत ही सीनियर मिनिस्टर, उसने मुझे एक सवाल पूछा। उसने कहा, आपके यहां बेटियां साइंस और इंजीनियरिंग के विषयों की पढ़ाई करती हैं क्या? उसमें क्या था? मैंने उनको कहा, आज मेरे देश में लड़कों से ज्यादा बेटियां आज स्टेम यानी साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग और मैथ्स, अधिकतम भाग मेरी बेटियां ले रही है। तो उनके लिए अचरज था। ये सामर्थ्य आज हमारे देश का देख रहा है। मेरे प्यारे परिवारजनों, आज 10 करोड़ महिलाएं विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प में जुड़ी हुई है, और विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के साथ आप गांव में जाएंगे तो आपको बैंक वाली दीदी मिलेगी, आपको आंगनवाड़ी वाली दीदी मिलेगी, आपको दवाई देने वाली दीदी मिलेगी, और अब मेरा सपना है 2 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाने का, गांव में 2 करोड़ लखपति दीदी, और इसके लिए सामर्थ्य देखता हूं मैं। और इसलिए हम एक नई योजना सोच रहे हैं कि हमारे एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में टेक्नोलॉजी आए, एग्री टेक को बल मिले। इसलिए विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की बहनों को हम ट्रेनिंग देंगे, ड्रोन चलाने की, ड्रोन रिपेयरिंग की हम ट्रेनिंग देंगे, और हजारों ऐसे विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप को भारत सरकार ड्रोन देगी, ट्रेनिंग देगी, और हमारे एग्रीकल्चर के काम में ड्रोन की सेवाएं उपलब्ध हो। इसके लिए हम शुरुआत करेंगे। प्रारंभ हम 15,000 विमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के द्वारा ये ड्रोन की उड़ान का हम आरंभ कर रहे हैं।
Considering we are celebrating Nari Shakti, it's obvious that today's show will be woman, or rather women centric. To the first woman on the show, This one started as a child actor and became a sensation in not only Tamil cinema but also lit up South Indian cinema. She later burst forth on television and became one of the pioneers of reality television. She joined politics and is today part of the National Executive Committee of the BJP and is also a member of the NCW. But you know what? All that notwithstanding, she is a woman who has risen time and time again to prove that she doesn't require any validation to be truly empowered. On the 77th Independence Day, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome one of the most empowered women that I have known in my entire career, Khusboo Sundar, to the show.
Hi.
Hello Khusboo, very, very happy Independence Day to you.
Wishing you the same. Such a wonderful day to start with. Little late, but then with a very beautiful and empowered woman like you.
Thank you so much, Khusboo. It is always such a pleasure and to meet with you and to see you. And like I said, your political affiliations notwithstanding, the kind of cinema that you do notwithstanding, but I think as a woman, you really truly stand as a symbol, first as a Tamil woman and then as an Indian woman is how I look at it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Khusboo, I'm going to ask you what freedom means to you, and please, this is not a rapid fire like we have seen in other shows. But take your time, Khusboo Sundar, to answer this. So, on this day, it is only natural to ask someone like you these questions. So, Khusboo Sundar, what does freedom mean to you as a woman?
Freedom to me is to allow me to be who I am, as I am. Freedom to me is do not clip my wings, but allow me to fly as high as I can. Freedom to me is live life on my terms. Freedom to me is allow my mind to grow and give me the opportunity to explore the world on different spheres and platforms. Freedom to me is to call myself an independent woman as and when, where I want to. Freedom to me is to be who I am. As simple as that.
Wonderful. And considering one knows, I'm going to ask you an additional question here. Considering we know the kind of role your mother played in your life, we've read so much about Ammi as she's known, to everyone around, that diminutive, powerful packet that she is, and one has had the privilege of seeing her, meeting with her once. I want you to elaborate a little on, when mothers bring up children, you and your brothers, the way she brought up. Just talk a little about that woman. Today, Narendra Modi ji spoke about how the women are leading us. And I think one woman back in Mumbai led you, Khusboo Sundar.
Sudha, I have always said that I wouldn't have been here had it not been for my mother. I wouldn't say my mother is perfect because no human is perfect. But as a mother, I think it's extremely important that you believe in your children. And my mother especially, who comes from a very, very conservative Muslim background, who used to wear a burqa for a very long time, somebody who was expected to fulfill the duties of a wife, somebody who was expected to be home just to take care of the children and the family, to make sure that whatever is she cooks and she serves on the table. For her to stand by me, to allow me to dream, to allow me to love, to allow my brothers to love whoever they wanted to, and accepted us and our partners and us as a whole family. I think, it takes a lot of courage, because when me or my brothers, all of us are married into different religion, and because we were in love, and love knew no bounds. So it does not have any barrier. And this is one thing which I've learned from my mother, because when there were few people who suggested, as in my brother's case, my case, when they said, "Arey, love to theek hai, but you should get married in the same community and the religion." And my mom walked up to my brothers and said, that, listen, the girl may belong to a different religion, but if tomorrow somebody comes and tells you that you have to get married within your religion, within your community, and if you even think of ditching that girl, then you will be out of the house and those girls will be staying with me at home. And that's exactly what she told me, that if you are in love, if you truly believe that this is the man you want to spend your life with, then just go ahead. Do not let anything bother you, because love has no boundaries, love has no barriers. It's just love. So I think, somebody from such a small and closed background, to come up with this, because I don't think anybody else in a family has ever married into a different caste or religion or a community. So I think it was just wonderful of my mother to have accepted us wholeheartedly.
And as a mother to two grown-up beautiful daughters, what does freedom mean to you, Khusboo Sundar, as a mother?
I must admit that, you're growing up times when you are a daughter, you rebel a bit, and there are times when you think that it's quite fashionable to rebel. But as a mother, when your daughters do that, it really pricks. And you're like, okay, that hurts. But then you go back and think that, okay, you have almost done something very similar. But I tell my daughters, because they are free to choose. It's an intercaste marriage under Special Act. My husband being a Pakka Hindu and me coming from a minority Muslim community, my children are allowed to choose the religion they want to. We have never sat down and said that you have to follow Hinduism or you have to follow Islam. We have never told them that this is how you should function in your life, and this is not, you're not supposed to behave. I think we, as parents, we have given complete freedom to our children, but we also know that where to put a full stop. There are times when my girls do tend to go a little overboard, and I have to put my foot down and behave like a proper mother and tell them that this is not allowed at home, and you need to learn that there are boundaries and we have to follow certain boundaries. And I think my husband is a step ahead of me, in fact, where he tells the girls that you girls have started working. If you want to move out and be on your own, I would say, please move out. I'll pick up a place, you pay your rent, and you be on your own. And I don't have any qualms about it. And he knows that I'm not okay with it. So because I tell my girls, you can't move out. Because I moved out, though I was a working woman, I moved out of the house only when I got married. So you will move out only when you get married. Till then, you can't move out. But my husband tries to drill things in my mind and says that, you are very old-fashioned. Times have changed. You need to learn that how the kids live today. They are with you. Just they moving out does not mean that they don't love you or they love you less or they don't respect you. It's just that you have to learn to respect their independency and their way of living.
Right.
So I think my husband is a step ahead of me. But yes, there are certain do's and don'ts, like every family does. And even my family has do's and don'ts. And being the woman of the house, I think I like my children to follow that to a certain extent.
Lovely. Khusboo Sundar, you started off very young, as a child actor in Hindi films, and then, made your transition to Telugu and Tamil cinema. Your times, I have watched all your interviews, and the actresses of your time, like Suhasini Maniratnam, Radhika Sharat Kumar, all of them talking about how you never had a caravan, you had to change out in the open, everyone holding a sari, you guys changing there, no ACs in studios. Today, you look back, there's always been a bias. That's what women actors have said, you're not paid at par with male actors. Today, what does freedom mean to you as an actor, Khusboo Sundar?
Sudha, probably belonging to the older generation, or, what we call as golden times of cinema, the 80s and the 90s. I think we have never complained about being paid less or do not have the facilities or the luxuries of changing or doing makeup. All of us have been through where you have to wake up at 2 in the morning and there is no electricity. You place candles and do your makeup, with those candles. You have had hairdressers where you didn't have these tongs and straighteners and no rollers. They would roll your hair with your fingers and pin it up before you sleep. My hairdresser used to do that. and pin it up, and she would just put a scarf and she said, "Go to sleep, beta, subah dekhenge." And probably like you said, where all of us didn't have place to change, so we would either change in the ambassador with just towels fixed on the
Right.
windows, or there were 4 lightmen who would hold the saris for us and say, "Okay, we are taking care of you, please change." So I think we belong to that generation, so we do not complain even today. And we are fine. There are times where you don't have caravans. There are times when you don't have place
Right.
to change. So
Right.
we are ready to adjust. But to me, freedom is not about having a luxury caravan. Freedom as an actor is not about how many people travel with me, the entourage, or how many people travel with me. For me, freedom as an actor would mean doing the characters which I would want to do today. The kind of larger platform we have with OTT and television, and even movies where we have we have taken a step forward, and the kind of characters that have been coming up for women.
Right.
That would be my freedom. There are times when I see films where the very negative role or very, very special role, which probably is given to only the male counterpart. And I'm like, why is this character not written with a woman in mind? Why is that it's always a very, very meaty role, which that any woman can do it? Why is it not written for women in mind? Why the villain always has to be, somebody who's a male, who's from a different gender? Why cannot be a woman who plays the vital main negative person? Whether it could be any a film in Hindi with a big star cast, or any film in the South with a bigger star cast. Why is that you always need a male person to compete with the hero? Why can't it be a woman? So for me, freedom as an actor would be doing films, doing characters which are of different genre on different platforms, something which we have never tried before. And I would love to see a lot of people bringing out those kind of characters today, because you have that opportunity.
But don't you think that in Tamil cinema particularly, a lot of experimentation is happening? OTT particularly, you see a lot of women characters who are out there speaking their lines, which you and I can speak about when we meet, off the camera. But they are talking like that. It's no more so convoluted and stereotypical, Khusboo Sundar. Would you agree that somewhere cinema, particularly Tamil cinema, has come of age that way, where you don't have stereotype women,
Yes, we do, but then unfortunately we also go by the success rate, because if there are 2 shows which probably don't do well, then you're back to square one. With heroes, you never stop trying, but with women, you're women centric, and then there are 2 shows which don't do well, and you're going back to what the normal formula is. Then the OTT platform also says that, okay, let's not do this, let's try with something a little different genre. Movies, again, you don't find, very rarely you come across films which are very, very women oriented. And I'm not talking about being heroine oriented. I'm talking about being women oriented. You have television shows like what I saw, something like, Delhi Crimes, or you see something like what was done by Ravina Tandon, Aryanak, or you see what, they do it in Hollywood, Mayor of Eastwood. Kate Winslet did, or even recently what Dimple Kapadia did.
Right.
I think those are the roles, and they're not apologetic about it. They're not at all apologetic. Or even very recently, when you look at Karan Johar movie which had come out, or where Jaya Bachchan did that role, I think she was out and out. She's not at all apologetic, and she's somebody who wants to hold the family together.
Right.
She has a negative traits, and she's not at all apologetic about it. Now that is what I call of coming of age. Where you don't have to be apologetic. You don't have to say that, okay, this is how a woman has to be. This is how a woman has to be treated. This is how a woman has to behave. I think we can walk forward and with a very clear mind, saying that we have come of age. And if a woman is seen doing something extraordinarily different, you don't have to claim or say that, oh, she is hitting a glass roof. No, she is not.
Right.
She is not breaking the glass ceiling. I think it's there in her. She just needed an opportunity. So I think this is where I feel that the freedom as an actor comes from.
Fantastic. And considering that you have chosen politics, to be in politics, I'm not speaking about the ideology, but Indian politics, you know, which is a very, very extremely important part of the way we have grown over the years, 77 years of independence. But politicians' lives is also kind of extremely difficult. I'm not just talking about the physical rigor, but the decisions you have to make many a time, you know, it is tough. So today if I ask you, Khusboo Sundar, what does freedom mean to you as a politician? What is that thing?
To speak my mind across the political lines, across the border lines. I think when we are working for the country, any political party for that matter, if you are truly thinking of making this nation grow, if you're thinking about the future generation, the next generation, that what are we going to leave behind for them? And if you're looking at making this country a very, very powerful country than what it is already today, I think we all need to come together and speak a mind. It cannot be you are in power, you are in opposition, and you have different of opinion where in your hearts you know that this is the right way forward. And despite knowing this is the right way forward, we continue to oppose, we continue with the blame games, we continue speaking within the borderlines of the every political parties. I think for me, as a woman, the first freedom comes that I need to speak my mind, and that is not going to, no political party or nothing is going to hold me, because what I feel is right, speak my mind, speak from my heart. And that is what the first freedom is. And as a politician, I think there are times when my husband tells me that probably you're not fit to be a politician because you always are speaking from your heart. And I think if that's going to give me a very comfortable sleep at night, and not going to give me any sleepless nights, I'm perfectly fine at it. There are times when you think you have to speak, but then, you know, you have your barriers, you have your boundaries, and you're not able to speak.
Right.
But fortunately for me, I am known to speak my mind, and I do it, I continue to do it. There are times when I overshoot the boundary lines, yes. There are times when probably I'm not in, at par with my political ideologies or the party I belong to. And it's not only now, even before that, or the other party what I was in, I think I've always spoken my mind. And I think that is when I say I'm liberated, and that is what my freedom is. Because if I'm not allowed to speak my mind, if I am put in a bracket and say, okay, this is all you can move, this is how you have to speak, and this is how you need to see from my point of view, then I can't. I need my point of view. I need my perception. I know my limits, so I don't go beyond my limits. Right. So I don't personally hurt anyone. I don't personally blame anyone. But I think if this is my perception as a mother, as a woman, as a wife, and mainly as a citizen of this country, if this is how the country has to move forward, then be it, I will speak my mind.
Khusboo Sundar, you grew up in Mumbai and then you moved to Chennai, and these cities have changed in their avatars. You know, the Mumbai that you grew up in is very different today, and so is Chennai. I have read you on social media posts. You go to Mumbai and you say, I'm back in Mumbai, it's where I started. You know, we've seen pictures of B.R. Chopra ji, the train, etc., your aunt who lives there. You seem to love that city, but Chennai Punya, that is, you are a woman, a girl, a daughter of Chennai. So today your life, your work is in Chennai, you know, largely. So as a city, what does freedom mean to you as a Chennaiite? What is it?
See, today I love to call myself, as very North Indian people say, Madrasi. If that is how it is, then I am a true-blooded Madrasi, a Chennai girl. Tamil has become my thinking language. There are times when I speak Hindi, but then I don't even realize, and there are few words of Tamil which just flow in. And then people in Mumbai, they look at me and they're like, okay, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, oops, sorry. I had picked up a Tamil word. वो ऐसी flow में आ गया था. So I love Mumbai because I was born and brought up there. I have a very, very emotional connection with Mumbai. I started my career in cinema in Mumbai. So I'm very emotionally attached to Mumbai. But everything said and done, I am a true-blooded Chennaiite. And for me, whichever part of the world I am in, you know, whoever's traveling with me, the minute from the flight, I peep out of the window and I see the Chennai lights, and there's a glow on my face, and they said, okay, there she goes. She has a glow. She's back home. And I'm like, this is how I am. And I think Chennai, the best part about Chennai is it has a perfect balance of the modernity as well as the tradition.
Yes.
We wear our culture and heritage with pride on our sleeves. It's like a crowning glory for us.
Yeah.
Culture and heritage. And again, the most important thing about Chennai or Tamil Nadu for that matter is the harmony. You have stray incidents here and there, but Varavekum Tamil,
yes.
that is what it is.
Yes.
I mean, whoever comes to Tamil Nadu, you are bound to be welcomed with a lot of warmth and a smile, and they allow you to live your life the way you want to. There are no dictations, there are no conditions. So they love you unconditionally. And that is what the whole thing about Tamil Nadu is, that Tamil Nadu is a place where anybody can walk in from anywhere in the world, and you're very safe, you're going to be loved, and you will be taken care of. Yes, you have good and bad people everywhere. But when it comes to the ratio, Tamil Nadu, I would say 90%, they're very good people. And of course, 10% you have, they're all manageable.
Wonderful. I mean, no better brand ambassador for Chennai than Khusboo Sundar. My last question is that, Khusboo, we all have our little symbols, like for me, if I go abroad and I see the tricolor somewhere, I know that you may call me the drama queen, but my eyes well up. It's like I've seen my mother sort of. I mean, something familiar. I'm safe. I'm not lost in these big malls. What gives you goosebumps, Khusboo Sundar, or what brings tears to your eyes? What symbolizes India? Is it our national anthem? Is it the tricolor? Is it your mori when you hear either Hindi or Tamil in your ears when you're going abroad? Is it the smell of jasmine? What is it that makes you feel, I'm Indian and I have smelt India now? What is that one thing, Khusboo?
Two things. One is the tricolor. The minute I see tricolor flying high, like you said, my eyes well up. I am like, ooh, this is the moment.
Yeah.
And the other thing is our national anthem. I mean, wherever I am, if there's a national anthem being played, I sing it out loudly. I'm not ashamed, and I sing the entire national anthem, and I'm like, I'm so happy. And when you see these young kids, young players, like very recently, I was in Coimbatore with Vanati Srinivasanji, and we were celebrating on August 7th, we were celebrating Handloom Day. And there were these young college students who were there dressed up in all the best of handlooms, and they had designed it themselves, a different kind of clothing, and they had, taken the pains of wearing a cape or wearing a topi or, displaying the tricolor or, it was about weaving since it was handloom. So they were portraying, Mahatma Gandhi and the threads, the handloom threads. And when these kids, they won the prizes, and it filled me. I mean, I had tears in my eyes. I don't know why, but then this was something which is very close to me. Anything which is Indian, it really hits me hard. And when I smell, that hamare sondi mitti ki khushboo, that's when I'm like, oh, I'm so blessed to be Indian.
Absolutely. And on this Independence Day, Khusboo Sundar, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. And may you always be free in your mind and your hearts and your soul. And may that also empower your daughters who are the women in your family. Thank you very much. Vanakkam.
Thank you. Vanakkam. Thank you, Sudha.
So that was wonderful, Khusboo Sundar, someone who was a child actor, then later joined cinema, and then of course is now in politics. She spoke her heart out about what freedom means to her. Freedom as an actor, freedom as a woman, freedom as a mother. What better way to celebrate Nari Shakti than hear and speak to Khusboo Sundar. On the other side, we bring you more and more celebratory and also films and clips which makes us think that thank God we are Indian and we are all here today witnessing the 77th Independence Day. Jai Hind.
मैं इमरान अहमद खान नियाजी सबके दिल से हल्फ उठाता हूँ।
When Imran Khan